Well, hello there! Welcome to the C.A. Dixon channel, where, as part of me documenting my journey from emerging writer to successful author, I have picked up a ton of information along the way that I thought I'd share with you. In previous videos, I've highlighted things like leveraging your social media for additional visibility, or developing your branding tools. I suggested some newsletters that would be useful to subscribe to. And I highlighted a number of institutions and online portals that offer free resources. If you haven't already, you can check those out now. And in the next few videos, I am going to focus on queries and submissions. And in this video, I'm going to focus solely on query letters. If you've ever written a query letter and you felt like you were shooting in the dark while blindfolded and the target was moving, that's because that's essentially what's happening. For as many agents and publishers who are actually open to receiving queries, well, that's how many preferences there are in how they want to receive them. And one of the most conflicting questions to ask yourself during the query process is to customize or not to customize. But I'm going to start with the most game-changing piece of advice that I received from a consensus of agents, which is get straight to the point. I mostly write fiction, so I'm going to start with fiction queries. And I mentioned before whether to customize or not to customize, and my advice here is customize only if you are absolutely certain, whether you've met the agent or publisher in person and have had a conversation, or you have some very significant things in common. Those personal touches, those are the types of things that I would use in the opening of your query letter. Outside of that, a generic query letter is fine. Just make sure you get the agent and the agency's name correct. Besides that, the most cardinal rule to follow in fiction queries is to not query until you have a completed manuscript. There are also a handful of staples every query letter should include. The title of your book, the word count, it doesn't have to be precise, round numbers are fine. The genre of your book, and I would suggest not listing more than 2. A brief description of the book. Think of that short blurb in the inside jacket of the book that briefly describes the protagonist and the main conflict. Think in terms of catchy. What would hook the reader? And lastly, a brief bio. Now this bio is a little different than what I spoke about in previous videos. You'll want this bio to focus on your history and how it relates to writing. Relevant writing credits, credentials, awards, schooling, BFA, or other notable writing programs. Moving right along to nonfiction queries. With nonfiction queries, you don't need a completed manuscript, but you do need to have a proposal and a good idea of what the book is going to be about and how you're going to complete it. Your nonfiction query letter will include a strong introduction of yourself, and this is where you can restate your writing credentials. You also want a strong outline of your book, where you have a chapter-by-chapter analysis of your subject. You'll want to include comps of other books that address similar themes to your topic. And lastly, you will want to include some market analysis in your genre and details on how you plan to market your book. And the final example of query letters would be for literary magazines, poetry, or short form submissions. Depending on what you're submitting for, it will probably look like the fiction query letter, just a condensed version of that. The good thing about these short form queries is that you'll most likely be following the prompts of whatever submission portal the online outlet uses. And I've mentioned that 50-word limit bio in previous videos, and this is where that bio is going to come most in handy. As always, I will include some links in the description that will highlight examples of some successful query letters. And if you've had success with some queries of your own, let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful or want more content like it, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.